Welcome back to the Radium Records channel. I'm Bradley Denniston. Today we're talking about the Quantum HD interface from Presonus. This thing has a ton of bang for your buck, and that's why I wanted to bring it to the channel, because I think it's highly valuable. 8 microphone preamps, word clock, 10 outputs, MIDI I/O, digital ins and outs. We got USB-C, 2 headphone amps. We have a co-developed by Fender DI for your guitars and basses with a reamp circuitry where we can take the guitar or bass out to an amp and reamp directly from this box. No reamp box necessary, which would probably cost you $100 to $300. And yeah, this thing's awesome. It's a beast. This is less than $1,000. Let's get into it. I want to record drums, bass, guitar, vocals. I want to show you all the cool functions of this thing. All right, so I laid down some drums the best that I could, and then I bounced them down to just a drum loop file because I had to fix a little bit of my timing and stuff like that. But here's what we got for the drums, just so you can hear everything. And then I want to talk about what I think about the sound of the microphone preamps. So super basic loop. This is just a mic on the hi-hat, on the kick, and on the snare. One mic on each. And for me, I think the preamps are really, really clean. They have a lot of headroom, so it just sounds really natural and organic. Like that actually sounds a lot like this room sounds. So it's just very tight and punchy. Another thing I want to kind of point out is I thought this was really dope about the interface. In Logic Pro, when you go to the mixer, if you right click on any of the channels that have the Presonus input, you can right click on the Logic channel strip and you could show on the components the audio device controls. So if I right click and I go to channel strip components and go to audio device controls, you can see up here that we have 48 volts, we have a high pass filter, you got the pad on and off, and then you even have a microphone preamp gain control directly in Logic. And I haven't had that happen even with my Apollo, like it just doesn't do that. So this is a really cool feature. And I also noticed in the universal control, which I really love, I think this is super clean and super elegant, it's really easy to tell what's going on here. So just to run you through a little bit of the features of this, because I think it'll be really helpful for those of you that are tracking drums on your own, or you're doing a live band sort of setting, because you have 8 microphone preamps in this. And you also have the ability to expand it to ADAT and SPDIF. So you can do an extra 8 channels at 44.1. But on this, the cool thing is you can set everything up for your control room. So for example, you have the mic gain, preamp gain, you have all the filtering, the auto gain function on all of these, which super helpful and works really well for setting levels on drums, guitar, bass, vocals. I think it's really clean. It works really nicely. And then you have the large fader, which feeds your speakers, obviously, if you want to go direct to your speakers, or you can go into Logic and you can set your input 1, which would be from input 1 here. And then the big thing here is if you go to this little wheel here, you can see that there's a bunch of options. So you have speaker switching. You can do A or B, which means you can have 2 sets of speakers, or you can do A or A and B, which means you can use a subwoofer. Another thing, you have the headphone sources. So if you want to make your own mix for the headphones, you can send it out to 3 and 4, whatever, on the back of the interface, giving your band mates different mixes, that's super dope with a $1,000 interface, right? And then you have also, this is really cool. I thought the mute button can function as a mute button or a dim button. So you can just dim it down and you can tell it how much you want to dim it down. So that was really dope. And I also noticed that you have a SPDIF source as well. You can kind of pick which source you want to go from your SPDIF. And then UI settings and just general settings in here. So this is a really cool feature, just having this console and also having it link up perfectly with Logic Pro. So you can control all the microphone inputs and pads and 48 volts right from Logic Pro. Pretty handy. So now I just want to plug in my Fender P-Bass into the DI input here. And I also want to mess around with the reamp circuitry and throw it through a distortion pedal or something. So let's tap in. All right, so now I got the Fender P-Bass all set up. I just went directly into the DI input here, and to auto gain, of course, again, you just select the channel, which is really simple, and then you hit the auto gain function. And that's what I used to set this up. It's got me at 35 dB of gain, and let's check it out. Let's listen and record. Another part of this interface that's really cool is I can go all the way down to 32 samples on my latency, and that's a really, really fast I/O buffer size. So let's try that out. Now I'm screen capturing right now as I record this, so there is some latency, but when I'm not screen capturing, the latency on this interface is, I can't tell. I literally can't hear it, especially with the Logic's low latency mode on. It's non-existent. And I do have an L2 limiter on my master bus. So even with that on, I don't hear any latency whatsoever. Here's what it sounds like with the bass coming back in and going through the distortion pedal. And then the next up, we are going to lay down some vocals, and I'm just going to plug the TLM 103 directly into the Presonus, and we'll do a vocal take. I honestly didn't think that I could make something so grungy with this really clean interface with the clean pre's and everything. And now let's lay down some vocals on top of this. So I'm gonna set the gain for my vocal here using the Universal Control app and simply turn on 48 volts because this is a TLM 103, it's a condenser mic. And then we're gonna hit the auto gain function and I'm just gonna sing into it. Yeah, 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 yeah. Da 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 da. To make sure that the input gain is right, let's go into Logic and look at the return on this instead of looking at the Universal Control, because what we want to see is what's going to tape, right? So let's just hit this a little bit. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah. So dude, -4.8, that's a testament. Like, it's perfectly gained. If I want to, I can push it a little bit more. I'm going to put compression on it, reverb on it, etc. But this is like, I just hit the auto gain function and now even at my loudest, I'm at about -4.8 on my gain. So now let's cut the vocal. Yeah, you came up all the same with these boring grown-up games. Now you call me every day. All right, so I just cut the vocal. It's kind of just a bunch of gibberish right now, but I have just a Metatune and a Logic stock compressor on here, and I just want to show you what that sounds like, and I'll bypass the compressor and the Metatune as well, and it might be kind of embarrassing, but check it out. Yeah, you came up all the same with these boring grown-up games. Now you call me every day. Yeah, you came up all the same with these boring grown-up games. Now you call me every day. It's all the same, go away. Pretty clean and tight. Like, this is just the TLM 103 going directly into the preamp. Nothing. Just the L2 is on the master bus, but that's just limiting. Everything else is off. I did build a little chain here for this vibe of the track, and it sounds like this. Just a little chain, Metatune, compressor, Logic compressor, Decimort 2, distortion, and then spaced out. So it sounds like this. Yeah, you came up all the same with these boring grown-up games. Now you call me every day. It's all the same, go away. Hey, I know, I know it's like a game you're gonna run it, I know, out of time to talk. So far, I'm really digging the interface. I think it's really easy to use. It's really fast. It's efficient. I can get it down to 32 samples. I'm recording directly into Logic Pro. I have all the features and the Universal Control. This thing goes up 32-bit, 192K sampling rate. It's very, very, like, I'm impressed by it. I would definitely buy this interface just for the expandability of having 8 more mic pre's and then having ADAT out so you can add another 8 mic pre's. So pretty cool. And that's all I got for y'all. I just wanted to bring you this really valuable interface to the channel for all you looking for something around the $1,000 mark. With 8 mic pre's, ADAT, SPDIF, 192 32-bit. You got the DIs, the headphone amps. I mean, this thing's kind of just packed with value. So I'll just leave a link in the description to these interfaces, and thanks for tuning in. If you guys got anything out of the channel, out of this video, definitely drop a comment, question, like it, share it, whatever. All right, I'll see you next time. Peace.